My children soon will be gods. この狩りの始まりだ。
Usually I try to stay away from superlative stuff like this, you know. What is the best? What is the worst? But it's something that the internet can't get away from. You know, there's top 10s, sometimes top 20s. Then there's like, you know, top 5 best, worst, blandest. Yeah, specifically shouting out to you yachts for that one. Used to be 0 punctuation, now it's now it's fully ramblomatic. And here's what I'll say. Overall, the best and worst games of 2024, I am out of the loop on, because my whole deal is I've played some games this year, but nowhere near as many as I want to. And I'm looking to change that, because I'm looking to make one of our stream days a day for us to stream, you know, like memes on one day, games on another, and then you know, maybe a scary stream with Kate, or another meme stream, or another gaming stream. I don't know. But I really, really want to play games more, and I'm hoping that I can accomplish that here in the next month or so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. But the best and worst games of 2024 by the Act Man. That's what we're watching here today, and I guess I'm going to hear what the Act Man has to say. I usually trust Act Man on certain subjects. I usually think that he's pretty based with his criticisms. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Also, not only that, but the fact that other YouTubers have come after him in the past, you know, Quantum TV being the biggest example, and the fact that Quantum TV was able to complain enough to the right people at YouTube to where they got the Act Man demonetized. Like, what the hell? That just makes no sense. But either way, we're gonna see what the Act Man has to say about the best and worst games of 2024. So I got it queued up here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today it's time to look back at the absolute best and utterly worst games of 2024. This year was one for the record books. For certain records nobody wants to break. We saw the enormous rise and tragic fall of Brave Concord.
Farewell, sweet Concord!
A game which will live in our hearts and in infamy. 2024 was a huge year for out-of-touch CEOs, and...
Okay. Maybe I should walk that joke back.
I was trying to point out that we reached new heights in the number of layoffs across the video game industry. Don't take this the wrong way, okay? As we go month by month through 2024, I'll put up a casualty number. Sorry, I mean a regrettable but necessary loss number. Also, the nerve of that...
No. You should call it the future endeavors number, because they always say, we wish you well in your future endeavors. Christ. No, they don't. They could literally care less.
Jeff Keighley guy, right? How dare he use his platform at the Game Awards to raise awareness about this issue in the industry. Personally, I'm actually a huge fan of unemployment and outsourcing jobs to AI pig slop. Please, more AI slop. Let me keep consuming. But with that being said, let's dive into the most memorable moments, games, and releases this year. And stay tuned to the end, because I'll be giving you my pick for best game of the year and worst.
Okay, let's be real. You already know what they are. It's Helldivers 2 and Dragon Age the Veilguard.
But also make sure you leave a comment below and let me know your picks for best and worst game of the year. Let's have our own little Act Awards in the comments section. I'm curious to see what you guys think. January was a huge month for layoff fans. Riot Games had about 530 layoffs, but Microsoft was also putting up some insane numbers, totaling over 2,000 layoffs in just 1 month. Saquon Barkley doesn't even have 2,000 yards this season. He's totally washed up. Look at the numbers Microsoft is putting up. 2,000 layoffs in 1 month.
Is the joke getting old yet?
The video game industry is in dire straits, people. These layoffs were broad. They hit 343 Industries, now Halo Studios. They hit Bethesda, Blizzard, and Activision. And 2 of the founders left Blizzard in 2024. Mike Ybarra and co-founder Alan Adham. Adam?
Fuck, I don't know what his last name is. Whatever.
The first major release of 2024 was a big one. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Thank goodness. Were you guys as excited for this remaster as I was? Because I wasn't excited at all. I've never played Last.
You want to know my response? My response after playing the Last of Us 2 all the way through. Here was my response. It was like, that could have been so much better if they would have just done so many things different. I'll say this: the game was beautiful, and the game played well, but the story, dude, the story dragged it down so much. It's like, violence is bad. Now go kill like 30 people over there as brutally as you possibly can.
Last of Us 2. You see, I've been waiting for The Last of Us 2 remastered to get a remake. Hopefully in 2 more years. Then I can sit down and finally see what this game was all about. But 2024 actually started off with a boom. Something nobody expected. Power World came out the same day, January 19th. What a game to start the year. A Pokemon-inspired survival monster-catching game featuring all the animal slavery you could possibly imagine. Power World quickly became one of the best-selling PC games of all time, and it cracked the top 2 of highest concurrent player count on Steam. In January, Power World was averaging 1 million concurrent players on average. But just 2 months later, that number sank all the way down to 83,000. Though its flame burned bright, Power World went out with a bit of a whimper. Once players had done everything the game had to offer, there was little reason to engage with the survival mechanics and keep building your town. It was a ton of fun figuring out how to optimize your workforce to get the most resources and build the most expansive base. I think coming out in early access really hurt this game in the long term. Had it been on par with the quality of something like Helldivers 2, I think this game would be soaring right now. Still, the most recent update that came after the Game Awards has somewhat revitalized the player base, and I'm still surprised it wasn't nominated at the Game Awards.
You know why it wasn't nominated. You know why. Because I guarantee you Nintendo told Jeff Keighley and the people at the Game Awards, it's just like, if you nominate Power World for anything, we're not going to allow you to show anything Nintendo related at your Game Awards.
Ace Attorney fans rejoice.
I guarantee you that's what it was. I guarantee you that's what it was.
Because the Apollo Justice trilogy and Ace Attorney Investigations have finally been remastered and ported to modern consoles. This series is honestly incredible. It has some of the best writing and storytelling you will ever find in any video game series. Highly recommend. And it's a big deal because the second Miles Edgeworth game had never been translated to English until just recently, and it had been out for like 12 years. So now we can finally play the game and understand what they're saying. After a 9-year hiatus, Tekken came screeching back into the spotlight with 8, earning critical acclaim from fans and critics alike. It even won Best Fighting Game at the Game Awards, beating out my beloved Sparking Zero. Guess I'll have to try it out. But the first major failure of the year came in early February with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
I forgot that was this year.
So that's it? What, we some kind of
live service flop? Kill the Justice League's biggest problem was that it was a live service for no reason, really. Well, the reason was money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Warner Brothers basically told Rocksteady, like, I guarantee this game was ready at least like 3 or 4 years ago. It was. I guarantee it was ready almost around the time of the pandemic. But because Warner Brothers was just like, Fortnite, Fortnite, good. We want Fortnite in our game. Rocksteady, put Fortnite in game. Live service. Now. And then Rocksteady was just like, but that'll break the game. And it'll take years to read it up. It's like, we not care. Put Fortnite in game. Put Fortnite in game. We want money. And instead of having a single-player game release, or instead of having a potential online multiplayer game release, where you and your 4 friends can play as the members of the Suicide Squad taking on the Justice League, instead, you live serviced it up and wanted to try and add seasons to it instead of just letting it be a game that you that you play and enjoy. Sorry, I've been sick the last couple days. If I sound a little hoarse and a little raspy, that's why.
Money now. Live service make money. Except, ooh, it looks like you lost a lot of money on this one.
Still not the biggest loss of the year. That goes to someone else. You know who.
Because the developers are already winding down development as the 4th season will be the last. The game saw a very slight boost in player numbers in December, but not enough to make a
Wow, yeah, a real
game
boost.
saw a very slight
real boost. Average players, 1,000. 1,000 players. Woo!
boost in player numbers in December, but not enough to make a sizable difference.
No.
Kill the Justice League has done little but burn money for Warner Brothers. As they've revealed, they've taken a financial hit of 200 million smackaroos. 200 million. We're wasting money on fucking live service games that nobody cares about while also axing staff. Make better games. Have better ideas. Naturally, this major flop served as a pretty big warning sign, a red flag to other studios looking to overinvest in shoddy live service games, and thankfully no other major flops released in 2024.
The sarcasm is so heavy, it's literally hitting me in the face like a brick.
Just 6 days later, a little team called Arrowhead Studios would come along and say, "Poof, poof, you want to see how a live service is done, little bitch boy?" And they came out with Helldivers 2, my boy, my goat, my game of the year. God bless Super Earth. Salute in chat right now. Sorry, wrong salute.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro. It's like, where are you, America? This ain't America. This is Super Earth.
Sacrifice for paradise. Anything less will not suffice. Helldivers 2 took over the gaming zeitgeist for months. It was all anybody was talking about.
Then Sony, much like a lot of things, Sony had to fuck it up.
Memes were running rampant, and Helldivers 2 sparked renewed interest in the Starship Trooper series, which is still one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. The live service has been incredible and consistent, with tons of new weapons and enemy types, planets, major orders. I called this game a masterpiece, and I stand by that. This game has set a new standard for what I expect from a live service business model, or what is the best case scenario.
Yes.
However, there were some major problems. We can't always win, right? Despite some major balancing issues and nerfs that affected the game and the player base in a sandbox within a few months after launch, they've mostly rolled back a lot of those changes.
No, in-game, yes, except for like the PSN sign-in bullshit, which, again, fuck you, Sony.
And Sony delisting the game from like 177 countries. What a brilliant idea that was. Let's kill the momentum of our fastest selling game of all time. I'm a PlayStation executive.
We need to increase our PlayStation Network numbers so that we can impress our investors. Never mind the fact that the game is selling like hotcakes, but we want people to invest in our company because we got to recoup that $400 million that we lost by investing in Concord.
Sony, our game is doing really, really well. Can we roll back that idea that all players will have to make a PSN account? I'm a PlayStation executive, no? Delisted. I like losing money. Regardless, Helldivers 2 is one of those staple games, now part of my catalog, where I could hit up my boys at any time and be like, want to play Helldivers 2? And we'll get a squad anytime. I love it. Can't wait to see how the game evolves into 2025. Question. What the fuck was wrong with Ubisoft this year?
Everything. The question is, it's Ubisoft. You expect them to learn? Ubisoft has buried their head in the sand and is acting like nothing is wrong. They're like that. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. What do you mean? Our games are great. This is a quadruple A experience. What is wrong with you? The people don't know what they want.
It was not a good time for Ubisoft. What is Skull and Bones? Why is this random pirate game getting a $200 million budget and being developed over like 10 years? Why did Ubisoft CEO call it a quadruple A game? Where did this even come from? I feel like I never heard about this until after it came out and I heard the term quadruple A game, $200 million budget, and then saw like peak Steam player count like 2,000. Ubisoft even wanted to make a TV series out of this game. What is with these studios and wanting to like make a multimedia franchise out of something you haven't even proved can succeed as a video game?
Because they can't see the forest for the trees act, man. They literally cannot see anything past their own nose. Like, that's the thing. They look at their bottom line and they're like, I want that to get bigger. I not care who I sacrifice. And then when things don't go, and when they give a studio like hundreds of millions of dollars, and that studio gives them a game that is substandard because they kept moving the goalposts. I mean, and the executives are just like, I guess they don't know how to develop games. Lay off all of them so that we can save money and our bottom line doesn't have to go down.
Concord? It perplexes me to no end why publishers risk so much over investing in these projects that they don't even expect to break even on. Skull and Bones marked a new milestone, the first quadruple A gaming failure. It was plagued in development hell, and I guess Ubisoft just kept throwing money at it. You can't fix all your problems by throwing money at them. Without a cohesive vision, the game failed to impress, and the quadruple A tag has made it the subject of mockery by gamers.
Once again, you can't make a video game by committee. You can't. You need someone at the head of it, guiding the ship, pun very much intended. You need someone there in order to make the thing work. You have an overarching development. You need the same person at the head of it in the overarching development. And then there are people, I guarantee you, there are people underneath the director who are just like, well, this isn't meeting what I think the game should be, so I'm just going to complain to upper management and then and make it more difficult and make it to where they have to put my ideas in. It's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. You have been like, if you're a dev who's only been developing for like 2 years and you think that your opinion matters more than that of a 10 to 15 plus year like dev who's been working for the same company for 15 years, like, and you think that your opinion and you know games better than they do? My God. Once again, you can't make games by committee.
Gamers. Apparently there's supposed to be an expansion to Black Flag, which I loved. That's like my favorite Assassin's Creed.
It's
I don't
up
know
there.
how you fucked that up. How lucky are we, man? 2024, we finally got a long-awaited sequel. Poker 2.
Now, if only they could make chess too.
AKA Balatro, made by one
Oh my
dude, this
God.
indie roguelike made it all the way to a nomination for Game of the Year. Memes did not become dreams, however, and Balatro lost to Astrobot. Still, it sold over 3.5 million copies, and Balatro has given a unique spin on the deck-building game genre. Unfortunately, 2024 was not a good year for Star Wars fans. Arguably one of the worst, as
boy.
Respawn, the developers of Titanfall 1 and 2, were working on a new Star Wars FPS single player, the likes of which we haven't seen since Jedi Academy. God damn. How's progress on that coming along?
Yeah. This type of game can't catch a break. I mean, Star Wars 1313, which is being developed by Visceral, and was being led by Amy Hennig, the woman who literally created the Uncharted franchise. She created the Uncharted franchise. She was leading it as the head developer, and that gets canceled because of the changing of the guard, and from like Lucasfilms to Disney, and basically Disney canceled all Star Wars related projects to get a handle on it, and thus the game was permanently canned. Although there was some dev footage leaked of it, and it looked really promising. It looked like an Uncharted game. It looked like an Uncharted game set in the Star Wars universe. And now Respawn, who basically have given us the only good Star Wars single-player games with Jedi Outcast and Jedi Survivor. Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor Outcast. Jesus Christ, I am a stupid man. But yeah. And instead of letting them do their thing, instead you just like cancel it for no reason. Why? There is no hope.
Of course it's canceled. Of course. Yes, let's cancel Respawn's FPS game, but let's keep throwing money at this fucking dumpster fire pirate game. I still haven't forgotten how incredible Titanfall 2's campaign was, but it seems somebody at EA forgot. Somebody really important. I sure do love layoffs. I love unemployment. I love how it stifles and destroys creativity in the industry. As the old saying goes, can't have shit in Mos Eisley.
It's a fucking shithole.
Yes. I have no doubt the Star Wars game would have been incredible, but now we'll never know. The Final Fantasy VII Remake got its second entry with Rebirth. Someday I'll get around to playing these games, but the idea to split a remake into multiple parts was a bold strategy, but it sure has paid off, Cotton, as Rebirth has gotten even better review scores than its predecessor. It's nice to see a modern retelling of a classic game succeed to such a high degree. It goes to show that there is magic in the writing. Some stories are timeless and they're so good they deserve to be remade and retold.
Yes.
Sadly, on March 1st this year, we lost an absolute legend, Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball. His work and impact on this world will last the rest of our lives and beyond. There have been so many kick-ass Dragon Ball video games. I loved the series and just wanted to give him a little love. But the suffering for Star Wars fans was not over, as we were sucker punched with the Battlefront collection. Dear God. I was hoping to forget this existed too, but sadly here we are. Yet another in a long list of disingenuous dogshit remasters that solely exist to squeege our collective nostalgia for any pennies it might be worth. I mean, this was on par with Warcraft 3 Reforged. It's just an objective downgrade, barely functional, no new innovations or content to speak of, a complete insult to fans. There was no reason for this to be made or released in the state that it was, and it makes you wonder why they would rush out such an awful remaster instead of, I don't know, doing something with those nearly complete builds of Battlefront 3? Just like, what are we doing out here? What are
we doing? Oh, well, that would actually make sense, Actman. They don't want to make sense. They want to make money.
What are you doing? The devs behind the Battlefront collection, Aspire, had a chance to somewhat revive an aging community and reinvigorate this game with some new life, but the flames were immediately extinguished just as fast as the beacons were lit. It's been 7 years since a real Star Wars Battlefront game. It's a series that is supposed to print money. It shouldn't be this hard to figure out, but for some reason it is. Give Battlefront a Respawn. How about that? There's an idea. Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of those RPGs I look at and say, wow, I can't wait to play this. And then my brain says, hey, you haven't replayed Oblivion in 3 years. And I go, ah, shit, you're right. I missed out on Dragon's Dogma 2. My only hope is that it was as dogmatic as the first one, which came out in 2012. This year was stacked with long-awaited sequel after long-awaited sequel. It was nominated for Best RPG at the Game Awards, but it sadly didn't win. Been spending most of our lives.
Oh yeah, Stellar Blade.
Living in the Gooner's paradise. I beat my meat once, twice, or thrice. Living in the Gooner's paradise.
Oh yeah, that's demonetized.
Stellar Blade released on April 26th, and though its gameplay was solid, the boss design incredible, that's not what most people were talking about online. Discourse kind of devolved into boobies and outfits. which is fine, I guess. It just kind of makes you wish this discussion occurred around, you know, like a dead or alive beach volleyball game. Stellar Blade's main character Eve sparked a really big discussion around sex appeal in gaming. How necessary is it? How far can you push it? I covered that in a previous video, but that aspect really seemed to overshadow any discussions around the game's story, its combat, and its gameplay, which
Well, that to me is annoying because, first off, the person that developed the game, that came up with the design of Eve, was a woman, and the woman that they used as the model, it's been discussed to death. I don't need to regurgitate the points.
felt were pretty solid. A worthy entry in the Souls-like genre.
Yeah.
Back on May 7th, Microsoft announced they weren't done for the season, man. 2,000 layoffs, rookie numbers. They put up an extra 705 on one day by shutting down Tango Gameworks, Arcane Austin, and Alpha Dog Games.
Yeah, well, okay. Tango Softworks makes no sense because they literally had the only game during this whole thing that Microsoft released that actually was good. Arcane Austin I understand because Redfall was god-awful, and Arcane Austin is basically, it was a shit show down there.
This caused a huge controversy, which I also covered, because Xbox severely lacks major first-party titles. They have for a long time, so getting rid of Tango, the developers of Hi-Fi Rush, was seen as a sign that they don't give a shit how good of a game you make. Gotta drive Game Pass subscriptions, that's the only thing that matters. Hi-Fi Rush was beloved by pretty much everybody who played it, so it continued this trend of Microsoft cutting costs and getting rid of workers in ways that don't seem to result in us getting better games. A truly indefensible decision. Microsoft is sitting on so much intellectual property right now, and they're doing fuck all with it. So this was kind of a boiling point for me and a lot of other Xbox and gaming fans who just want to see Phil Spencer do better. Now that it looks like Microsoft and Xbox might even be abandoning the console market, really doesn't show a lot of faith in the brand or its potential to produce amazing exclusives. Thankfully, back in August, Tango was acquired by Krafton, which saved the studio.
Oh, thank God.
Half of its employees in the Hi-Fi Rush IP. Thanks, Microsoft! Animal Well made its way to the Game Awards as well, yet another indie title created by just one guy.
Nick played this and he loved it.
As part of Video Game Donkey's Big Mode Games studio, or publisher, whatever it is. I think it's a great sign that two indie games made it all the way to nominations at the Game Awards. I love Video Game Donkey, and I'll always root for him, and by extension, the games he helps. Yes. And I think it's great to see content creators help indie developers make their dreams become true. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is a game I'm not really interested in, but as a tech or graphical showcase, it's pretty incredible to watch. Doesn't look like it's much fun to play, but the actress Melina Juergens won an award for Best Performance. So you'll have to tell me in the comments below if Hellblade 2 is worth playing for the story, because I'm a little curious.
My problem is that this game, the first game was developed by a team of like 17 people. And it came out amazing. It looked amazing. It played good. But then this game had a dev team of, I think it was over 300 people. And there's a lot of people who say that the first Hellblade looks better. How do your graphics get worse when you have more people working on it? I don't get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it turns out X-Defiant could not compete with Call of Duty. While it was fun for a few days and I enjoyed my time playing it, the COD clone did little to stand out, and they could never beat the allegations of being the game you'll play until Black Ops 6 comes out. Born from former Infinity Ward leaders like Mark Rubin, X-Defiant looked like it could be a legitimate contender, and it may have been decent, but it was also generic. Even now, I'm having trouble finding words to describe the game. I think most people who tried it out thought, yeah, this is all right, and then quickly stopped playing because, it's all right is not going to keep people's attention for long. And on December 3rd, they announced that they'd be shutting down the servers on June 5th, 2025. So obviously Ubisoft is not holding out hope that this live service FPS is going to go anywhere. Just a terrible year for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
But a wonderful year for Paper Mario fans, because finally they released something I care about. The Thousand Year Door Remaster.
Yes.
This is hands down the best Mario game in terms of storytelling. It is truly one of the greatest RPGs ever made, in my humble opinion, and I was so excited to see it getting some love. Don't sleep on the Thousand Year Door, man. In the third chapter, Mario becomes a WWE fighter who fights a giant chicken in a city flying above the clouds, okay? It's awesome. The release of Destiny 2's The Final Shape in June resulted in even more layoffs at Bungie. You're finished with your work? See ya!
How about goodbye?
Accurate. Very accurate.
220 employees were axed, which accounted for about 17% of Bungie's workforce. That's pretty crazy. I don't care about Destiny. I feel very disillusioned from modern Bungie and don't really care about what they're working on, to be honest. And then we got a DLC so big, some considered it to be its own full game. Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree. I'll get my review out someday, okay? I got a plan.
You always got a plan.
January. Shadow of the Erdtree got mostly positive reception, though I found myself to be one of the few people who thinks it's worse than the base game. At least it's open world. There was so much wasted space and wide open landscapes with very little of interest to find. It marked the first time I ever got bored in a FromSoft Souls game. Every area was gorgeous and stunning with its art direction, but painfully simplistic and dull to play through. The big highlight, of course, were the bosses and the new weapons and movesets, which FromSoft knows what they're doing there. Still, it feels like FromSoft finally hit the ceiling of what they can get away with Dark Souls boss design. And it seems like we're gonna need another lateral move like Bloodborne and Sekiro. That's what Night Rain kind of looks like, so I'm excited for that.
There's nothing.
Thank you, son.
Wow. That's kind of cold, but true.
After Palworld hit its record-breaking Steam concurrent player count, I didn't expect anything else this year to top it. And then Black Myth Wukong came out. Monkey the video game had the right combination of incredible visuals and an iconic setting. Leaning heavily into Chinese folklore, this game exploded in their native country.
Oh yeah.
It showed a side of Chinese culture that resonated deeply with their people, and because of its massive popularity in China, Western audiences turned their heads and said, "What's that? Monkey game? 2 million concurrent players? I'll check it out." While at times the game really does feel like a on-rails boss gauntlet littered with invisible walls, that's honestly kind of fine. If the combat is solid and the bosses are fun, then yeah, you know, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Not every game needs to be like open world. Like Sekiro, the combat focused around one weapon type, the staff, but they really fleshed out the type of attacks and special moves you can use. Wukong won the Player's Voice Award for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, cementing its status as a fan favorite of 2024. So let me get this straight. You're saying Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League lost $200 million? That's nothing. Hold my beer, said Firewalk Studios.
Here comes
Oh,
Concord.
you think you can waste money? 200 million? Pump up those numbers, kid. Concord doubled that, wasting $400 million on a live service hero shooter, not part of an established IP, with ugly characters that cost $40, all for a game that was playable for just 2 weeks.
Yeah, we watched the video. It was the chaos. I forget the name of the video now. Damn. Sorry, my brain's still hazy. I'm still fucking sick. But yeah, we watched it, and it was by Big Boss, and it was, yeesh.
At that point, just burn your money, man. Like, why even donate to charity? Just burn your money.
It's not about money.
It's about
Sending a message. What was the message? I mean, honestly, what were they thinking? These are some of the worst character designs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It goes to show that graphics ain't everything. You can have the most highly detailed visuals that money can buy, but if you don't have a good art style, you know, people don't like looking at things that are ugly. Apparently Concord's...
pastels. Basically, that's it. It's just like, just throw pastels on them. That's what people want to see. What people? Who the hell are you talking about?
Development was plagued with toxic positivity as leadership was unwilling to hear criticism or act on constructive feedback. It was a sort of, hey Captain, we should sail around that iceberg. Nah, we're good. I have no idea why Sony thought to give this brand new studio developing their first game a $400 million budget for a brand new IP and to charge $40 for a hero shooter in a market that's saturated with free-to-play hero shooters. All copies ended up being refunded, meaning there was no money made on anything. Quite possibly the biggest L for gaming since E.T. the Extraterrestrial for Atari 2600. And Concord will remain a punching bag for years to come. Star Wars Outlaws, another Ubisoft game that really didn't pique my interest because at this point I and many other gamers were just kind of tired of Ubisoft's shenanigans. The weird pricing models, how they advertise and sell their games, all these different editions. Pre-order! Have you fucking pre-ordered yet? The gameplay looked decent, but I don't know. Third-person Star Wars shooter? Give me Republic Commando 2.
I agree.
On September 6th, ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Game of the Year came out, Astrobot. Honestly, I did not expect Astrobot to win because I haven't played it, and I think it's one of those games that if you have played it, you know why it won, and if you haven't, then you're sitting there confused as hell as to why it did.
Well, now, here's the thing. I played Astro World, which is the first game in the Astrobot series, and I said this. I said, if they expand on this and make this into something bigger with better, like the same level of inventiveness and ingenuity, this could be an awesome franchise, and it could be great. Because that's the thing, Astro World was free. Astrobot blew everybody out of the water with how good it was.
I love that the devs tried to shout out Nintendo, in saying that, hey, there's a company that's kept 3D platformers alive. You know who it is, right? But they couldn't mention them by name. I don't think Sony would have liked that. I played Astro's Playroom, which came with the PS5.
Astro's Playroom, sorry. Astro's World, Jesus. Yeah, Astro World's Travis Barker, the Astrobot, but you play as Travis Barker, and you have to kill as many of your concert goers as humanly possible. That's probably a bit too far.
And I thought it was pretty dang good, even if it was more of a tech showcase kind of game.
Yeah.
You know what? So is Wii Sports. Astrobot proves there is still a demand and a market for 3D platformers, a genre which outside of Nintendo has really not seen much love over the years, except maybe Ratchet and Clank. But I know a certain Baron Bird who would be happy to hear this news.
If only Microsoft would listen.
If they weren't dead. 2024 was a fantastic year for Warhammer 40k fans as we finally got Space Marine 2. And what a major standout it was. A fun arcadey third-person shooter that you can play with up to 2 buddies. It felt like a throwback to Gears of War co-op. I had a blast with a campaign playing it with my buddies, and though I didn't spend too much time with multiplayer, sometimes it's nice to just play a game for 10 to 15 hours and then say, you know what? That was great. I had my fun. I'm moving on. Yeah. But what I'm not going to play is Starfield Shattered Space, the first expansion. Remember Starfield? So Bethesda released the first, possibly only DLC for Starfield, and nobody really talked about it or played it. I think Starfield was a game that at first everyone was super excited to play, but the longer everybody played it, the more we all realized how shallow the pool was, how vapid the game got over time. I doubt Starfield is going to have any sort of No Man's Sky type of resurgence.
I think
people
so
are just
either.
over it, to be honest.
I don't think so either, because that's the thing. Hello Games is still independent, whereas Bethesda is under Microsoft's umbrella, and if Microsoft doesn't see immediate income from it, they cut it. Whereas Hello Games didn't see positive income from No Man's Sky until I think it was their 12th update, their 12th DLC, not DLC, but their 12th content update.
The horror genre has seen a resurgence almost entirely through remakes, and while it is kind of disappointing that we're not seeing a ton of new original ideas, shit, it seems to be working with Dead Space, Resident Evil, now Silent Hill 2, so I guess keep it up. I've never played the Silent Hill series, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
We actually played the Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition on this channel for Scaredy Kate. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun, and we're actually contemplating playing more for more Silent Hill 2, the Silent Hill 2 remake for Scaredy Kate, possibly tonight. Although I don't think Kate's gonna be up for it because Kate's sick as well. But anyway.
Zero was one of my favorite games this year, a true successor to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Although it's not a game that's really been balanced for competitive play, neither is Mario Party. Both of these titles I find are at their best when you're playing with your buddies in a relaxed, casual environment. I'm still pretty mixed on Black Ops 6. My attitude towards the game has gotten significantly more negative after they started selling AI-generated cosmetics and pig slop. Like, something about that art, man, is just so disgusting and off-putting. It's killed a lot of my interest in Black Ops 6, and its incredible zombies mode. Yeah, let's replace the actors, man, fuck you. I might be done with it, though I do enjoy playing the new zombies maps with Mr. Raffle Waffles and Hidden Xperia. That's fun, so I might keep doing that. And then the worst game of the year, in my opinion, or at least my most disliked, was Dragon Age the Veilguard. It's a totally biased opinion, but I replayed Origins for the first time in years, and you can barely tell these two games are from the same series. The Dragon Age identity started off so strong and confident in 2009, but over each entry, more and more of what I loved about the first game has been lost. I could not stand playing this game, don't like the combat, I hate the dumbed down RPG mechanics, the stupid dialogue wheel, the talking protagonist, and it's wild that Baldur's Gate 3 is doing what Dragon Age Origins used to do, and succeeding to such a great degree.
And the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 is getting a content release this year, 2025, I'm not sure when, but they're going to be adding a whole bunch of new classes, they're going to be adding mod support, and then people are going to be actually able to make their own custom campaigns. Think about that. That would be insane.
Veilguard to me was just like the final nail in the coffin that BioWare is truly cooked. After Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, now Veilguard, they have needed a W for a long time. And they just keep on taking fat L after fat L. One thing you gotta give Stalker 2 credit for is being developed during a war. Talk about dedication. Some of the Ukrainian developers for Stalker 2 had to flee their homes, and others ended up joining the Ukrainian armed forces while they're at war with Russia. The devs GSC were also subjugated to constant cyber attacks. That's just insane to think about. Do you think Sun Tzu ever considered how interfering with foreign game development might help you on the war front? This was the first new Stalker game in 15 years, and though it's currently sitting at mixed reception, I think given its very unique and troubled development cycle, I wonder if Stalker fans are somewhat forgiving about the state of the game.
Yeah.
So let's hope they can keep some positive momentum going.
I hope so.
December was utterly stacked with new releases. Marvel Rivals is incredible. It is everything great about hero shooters and is allowing us all to relive that sort of discovery of Overwatch. It also proves that hero shooters can still work, brand new ones. All you need is this little known IP called Marvel, make the game free, and don't lock any of the heroes behind a paywall. It's really simple, but extremely effective. I played the closed beta a few months ago, and one of my points of advice was, hey guys, make the heroes free and just charge for skins. It looks like they're doing that, and I got no problems with Marvel Rivals. At least not major ones. But stay tuned for a future review. While I'm still washing the awful taste of Diablo 4 out of my mouth, Path of Exile 2 came out. I believe in early access, but after I reviewed Diablo 4, I was told, gotta check out Path of Exile, gotta do it. And I just might be doing that soon enough. It's crazy to me that there hasn't been a big budget Indiana Jones game in forever. But
until now.
Choo choo, motherfucker. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle came out, and this game looks incredible. I haven't had time to try it out yet, but I'm also a bit surprised more people aren't talking about it. And finally, we had the Game Awards, which I felt rounded out the year very nicely. Would you believe there was 154 million viewers across these live streams? That's insane to think about. And if that metric is anything to go by, then interest in video games is at an all-time high. I think it was a fantastic celebration of the best parts of the industry, and like I said, Jeff Keighley did the right thing calling out industry layoffs, as 2024 was the biggest we've seen.
Yeah.
There was a ton of discussion around the Game Award nominations, and though it was controversial, I don't think people got too heated over it. It was a fun event, a lot of cool reveals, a lot of games and people getting recognized, and some awesome trailers to see. As I've been saying all year, 2024 has been a year of extreme highs and the lowest lows. We've seen incredible releases like Marvel Rivals, Helldivers 2, Black Myth Wukong, and Astro, some major indie successes, but also we've seen record-breaking failures with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Brave Concord, which does leave serious doubts about the future of AAA gaming and how mega flops like these could lead to further instability and layoffs in the future. But those were the best and worst games of 2024, brought to you by the Act Man. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Don't forget to post a comment telling me your best and worst games of 2024. I'm curious to see what you think. And subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace.
All right. So there we go. That was, oh boy. That was something. That was, that was the Act Man, and I'll say this. For the most part, I agree with his assessments. I'd say the biggest things that I took away from it were, Concord being a hot pile of garbage, and the fact that Sony burned $400 million trying to, like, reshape the future of PlayStation. Right. Star Wars Outlaws. Boo. Once again, Ubisoft fucking shit up. Astrobot. The only bright spot for Sony outside of Helldivers. And then, Warhammer Space Marine 2. I'm probably going to play through that sometime here soon. I'd like to do that on live stream because, God, I love the Space Marine games. Or I love the Space Marine game. Now there's games. Sorry. Yeah, I love the first Space Marine game, and Space Marine 2. I'm very, very interested in playing. So I guess we can, y'all can look forward to that. But right now, everybody, I think that is going to do it for this. This, once again, was the best and worst games of 2024 by the Act Man. If you all have your best and worst games of the year, feel free to let us know in the comments down below. And I guess if you want to see more from the Act Man, click his name in the title of the video. And if you want to see more from us, hey, y'all know the deal. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and until next time, I'm Nate. I will see you then. Peace.